We're officially closing in on the trade deadline for the 2023 NBA season. It was starting to look like it was going to be a really dry trade deadline, but now Kyrie Irving has demanded a trade out of Brooklyn and landed himself a spot on the Dallas Mavericks. What trades have we already seen, and which are more likely to come in the near future? All that and more, next. See, me personally, I thought this trade deadline was going to be a dud, and apparently Bleacher Report had the same suspicion. Luckily, Kyrie stepped in and he wasn't going to let the trade deadline be a dud. He requested a trade out of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if before the season started, you told me Kyrie would demand a trade out of Brooklyn, I wouldn't be so surprised. I lost complete faith in the Nets before the season started. But they almost proved me wrong. The Nets were 32-20. That's almost good enough for the second seed in the West. I thought I was getting proven wrong, but thank God Kyrie had to demand a trade out. And now he's going to join Luka, which is such an interesting fit in Dallas. I mean, it was a shoo-in that he was going to join LeBron and the Lakers, right? I mean, according to every Lakers fan, it was.
Irving had previously requested a sign and trade ahead of the season before deciding to opt into the final year of his max contract. He'll be a free agent this summer.
Long overdue. Long overdue. You know, the band, we all broke up maybe a year or two early in Cleveland. So it's about that time. Kyrie's the missing piece for this Lakers team.
See, I'm not a Lakers fan, but I was hoping Kyrie was going to be on LeBron's team when LeBron broke Kareem's points record, but it's not looking like it's going to happen this season at least. And now it's being reported by Mark Stein that the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Tsai, was purposely not trading Kyrie to the Los Angeles Lakers, even though they offered 2 first-round picks as opposed to the Dallas Mavericks only 1 first-round pick. That's a heartbreaker for the fans, and if that report's true, it's not even Kyrie's fault. If he does want to make his way to LA, he will this June. Enough about the trades the Lakers could have made, because they did make a trade, Rui Hachimura for Kendrick Nunn. Okay, maybe Rui Hachimura isn't the biggest splash of the season, but he's a much better fit than Kendrick Nunn was. The Lakers had multiple small guards trying to play at the same time, and not enough minutes to go around. Rui made his Lakers debut as the same day that Anthony Davis returned from injury against the San Antonio Spurs. Hachimura ended up going for 12 points and 6 rebounds off the bench, which isn't too shabby. He was being physical on defense and grabbing boards and getting out in transition. I don't think the Lakers are done making trades, but their biggest trade of the season, which would have been Kyrie if Joe Tsai didn't purposely send him there, I think they have some more in the chamber and some more trades lined up that they hope to get. And I don't mean Miles Turner or Buddy Hield. I think that's out of the door already. In order for the Lakers to land any trade packages that exclude their 2 first-round picks, it might just have to be for a guy like Josh Richardson out of San Antonio Spurs or Kelly Oubre Jr. out of the Charlotte Hornets. Alright, enough about the Lakers and hypotheticals. Let's get back to this Kyrie trade. Offensively, I have no questions about how Kyrie's going to fit on the Dallas Mavericks alongside Luka Doncic. We've seen him next to Harden, LeBron, KD. He's going to be fine. Play on, off the ball, whatever Luka needs. The problem comes from his fit on defense and how that team is going to match up against other teams, especially in the West, where you have guys like Ja, De'Aaron Fox, and Steph Curry. It's going to be hard for them to match up against those better teams in the West. I mean, even Jamal Murray might give them some problems. My biggest problem with the trade, and I'm guessing it's the same biggest problem that ESPN had when they graded it a D, is that if Kyrie just decides to leave the Dallas Mavericks in this free agency, the team is left with almost none of their starters. They could lose Christian Wood, Kyrie. They just gave up Dorian Finney-Smith. They gave up a first, a second, Spencer Dinwiddie. They gave up so much. And if he just doesn't return, they're left with almost nothing. If you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, I'm so sorry. I think he's going to go to the Lakers in this offseason. So those are the biggest trades that we've seen before the trade deadline so far. Next is a rumor of who we thought was going to be the biggest trade this season before Kyrie Irving demanded a trade out of Brooklyn. So probably surprising to no one, I have the OG Anunoby trade. My favorite is the one that's next, but just to give you some more perspectives. He could go to the New Orleans Pelicans, who were fighting for the first seed before their 8-game losing streak, and they've plummeted all the way down to, I think, even 10th. It was 9th, but you know, it's close enough. But if they land OG Anunoby, that would be an amazing fit. It's hard to find a team that OG Anunoby doesn't fit on in the league, but next to Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, he'd be great in the New Orleans Pelicans. But for me, my favorite OG Anunoby trade, it's the Phoenix Suns, man. Him and Mikal Bridges locking up every team's best players, it's too perfect. They get to keep Booker and Ayton, like this mock-up trade says. They might contend. They're a former 60-win team. They've been struggling with injuries this season. They pretty much came back with the same roster. I mean, if they brought OG Anunoby in place of Jay Crowder, oh my God, you don't want to see them in the playoffs. If the Raptors do end up making a trade that isn't OG Anunoby, I wouldn't be too surprised, but that's the 2023 trade deadline in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to even see maybe some other trades that I didn't list here. Let me know any that I might have forgotten in the comments.